Electric dreams versus diesel dinosaurs, the ultimate showdown. Welcome to our showdown between electric vehicles and diesel cars. Today we'll compare them across several key aspects to see which one comes out on top. Will it be the silent, futuristic electric vehicle gliding along on a wave of electrons, or the trusty, torque-laden diesel chugging its way to victory? In this corner we have the contender promising to save the planet, one silent mile at a time. In the other corner, the reigning champion of torque and long-distance hauling. We'll be putting these two through their paces, comparing acceleration, refueling times, cost, environmental impact, and more. So buckle up, grab a cuppa, or a pint, I won't judge, and get ready for a head-to-head that will determine the future of personal transportation. Right, let's get down to business. First up, the drag race. We've got our electric contender, all sleek and silent, lined up against the growling diesel beast. The diesel, with its turbo whistling a merry tune, seems confident. But don't underestimate the instant torque of an electric motor, and they're off. The electric car leaps off the line, leaving the diesel for dead. That instant torque, it's like being catapulted by a giant rubber band. The diesel, with its turbo lag and gear changes, struggles to keep up. Sure, the diesel might have a higher top speed, but in a sprint to the lights, it's the electric car that leaves you feeling like you've been launched into space. The diesel, well, it feels a bit like being dragged along by a particularly enthusiastic donkey, but let's be honest, most of our driving isn't spent on a drag strip, so while the electric car wins this round, the diesel isn't out of the game just yet. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite pastime, standing around waiting for your vehicle to be ready to go. The diesel, you pull up to the pump, wrestle with the fuel cap, and try not to get diesel all over your shoes. A necessary evil, some might say. The electric car, on the other hand, you just plug it in when you get home, like you would your mobile phone. No fuss, no muss, no lingering smell of diesel. Of course, the diesel driver will argue that filling up takes 5 minutes, while the electric car needs hours, and they're not wrong. But here's the thing, you're not standing there holding the pump for those hours, are you? You're at home, enjoying a cuppa, maybe chasing the dog around the garden. The electric car charges while you get on with your life. The diesel, well, it just sits there, demanding your attention like a needy toddler. Right then, let's talk about the color green. And no, I'm not talking about paint jobs, I'm talking about the color of money, because let's be honest, that's what really matters, isn't it? Now, electric cars, they're like that frugal friend who always brings their own packed lunch. They sip on electricity, which is cheaper per mile than diesel, and with fewer moving parts, they're less prone to breakdowns, saving you even more dosh. The diesel, on the other hand, is like that mate who insists on ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. Fuel costs are higher, and those regular maintenance visits, well, let's just say they don't come cheap. But here's the kicker. Diesel cars, they can go the distance on a single tank. Electric cars, not so much. You'll be stopping more often to charge, which can eat into your journey time. So if you're planning a cross-country road trip, the diesel might be the more economical choice.
Now let's talk about something important. No, not the offside rule, the environment. Electric cars, they're like the Greta Thunberg of the automotive world. Zero tailpipe emissions, clean and green. The diesel, well, it's more like your grumpy old uncle who still smokes indoors. It chuffs out those nasty fumes, contributing to the smog and the greenhouse effect. Not exactly what you'd call eco-warriors. But hold on a minute. What about how that electricity is generated? If it's coming from a coal-fired power plant, then your electric car isn't as squeaky clean as you might think. And let's not forget about the environmental impact of manufacturing batteries. It's a dirty business, mining all those rare earth minerals. So while electric cars might seem like the eco-friendly choice, it's not as clear-cut as you might think.
Right, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, spending a day at the mechanic. Not. Electric cars, they're like that reliable friend who's always on time. Fewer moving parts mean less to go wrong. No oil changes, no timing belts, no fuss. Diesel cars, on the other hand, are like that mate who's always got a sob story about their latest mechanical mishap. They require more frequent servicing, and those diesel particulate filters, well, let's just say they're not exactly known for their reliability. Of course, if you enjoy spending your weekends covered in oil, then be my guest. Get yourself a diesel. But if you'd rather be out enjoying yourself, then the electric car is the way to go. It's the low-maintenance option, leaving you more time for the important things in life, like driving.
Right, let's talk about those epic road trips. You know, the ones where you pack up the car and just drive, the open road beckoning you forward. Diesel cars, they're made for this. Fill up the tank and you're good to go for hundreds of miles. Electric cars, not so much. Range anxiety is a real thing, my friends. You find yourself constantly checking the battery gauge, planning your route around charging stations. And those charging stops, they take time. Not ideal when you're itching to get to your destination. But hold on a minute. The electric car charging infrastructure is improving rapidly. More and more charging stations are popping up, and some of them can give you a decent charge in the time it takes to grab a burger. So, while diesel might still be the king of long-distance driving, the electric car is hot on its tailpipe.
Now, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: noise. Electric cars, they're like ninjas on wheels. Silent and smooth, they glide along without making a fuss. You can have a conversation with your passengers without shouting, and you don't arrive at your destination feeling like you've been through a wind tunnel. Diesel cars, on the other hand, are like that mate who always insists on playing their music too loud. The engine noise, the vibrations, it all adds up to a rather unrefined experience. And don't even get me started on those cold winter mornings when the diesel engine sounds like a tractor struggling to start. Of course, some people like a bit of engine noise. They say it adds character, but for me, I'll take the silent serenity of an electric car any day of the week. It's like driving a library on wheels. So there you have it, the electric vehicle versus the diesel car. It's a close call, a real nail-biter. Each has its own strengths and weaknesses. The electric car, with its instant torque, low running costs, and eco-credentials, is a tempting proposition. But the diesel, with its long range and readily available fuel, is still a force to be reckoned with. So, which one suits your lifestyle? The raw power of diesel or the clean efficiency of electric? Let us know in the comments below. Will you embrace the future and go electric, or stick with the familiar rumble of a diesel engine? The choice, as they say, is yours. But choose wisely, because the future of personal transportation is at stake.